Texas has fired head basketball coach Chris Beard nearly a month after he was arrested on a third-degree felony domestic violence charge involving his fiancée. A statement from Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte says, in part, the University of Texas has parted ways with Chris Beard. This has been a difficult situation that we've been diligently working through. Today, I informed Mr. Beard of our decision to terminate him effective immediately. Beard has been suspended without pay since his arrest on December 12th. Before his time with the Longhorns, he led Texas Tech to the NCAA tournament title game and was named AP Coach of the Year in 2019. He went 112-55 in 5 seasons with the Red Raiders. Beard was hired at Texas in 2021 with hopes of leading his alma mater to the same heights. Instead, he leaves after less than 2 seasons. Let's bring in our 24/7 sports basketball analysts, Adam Finkelstein and Eric Bossi. And Eric, we'll start with you. What was your initial reaction to the news today?
To me, it's something that looks pretty much inevitable with the way things are going. You know, it's a bad situation all the way around. The allegations are bad. The fallout is always going to be bad. It's a rough situation for the team right now. But as a university, I just had a hard time seeing a way for Texas to bring him back and deal with everything that they would have had to deal with, especially if something else would have happened down in the future.
You know, just to echo those sentiments, this really, from what we're hearing now, came to a head in the last 72 hours. In fact, our 24/7 Sports affiliate site is reporting that Beard was given the opportunity to resign yesterday. He declined that through his lawyer, and now we're here at this point. So I think it's also not a coincidence that you saw Texas's 2 5-star recruits both make public statements within the last 72 hours. It gives an indication that Rodney Terry perhaps knew this was inevitable as well.
So Texas has gone 5-1 under interim head coach Rodney Terry. He will stay in that role for the remainder of the season. Eric, let's look long term here. Who's on the list for potential replacements?
You have to start with Rodney Terry, right? This is still a team that has a chance to compete for a Final Four, Big 12 championship, possibly a national championship. If they're able to do that and Terry's the guy, you've got to give him a long look, right? But that remains to be seen, and obviously we'll see how the actual news of the firing impacts him. There's also going to be some big names out there that Texas is going to turn to. We're talking about a job that's considered by most coaches a top 10 job, so they're going to go after the big names. Arkansas's Eric Musselman is almost assuredly going to be at or near the top of the list. He's been to the last 2 Elite Eights at Arkansas. He's been deep inside the state of Texas recruiting. He's got 2 5-star freshmen from Texas on his roster right now. He finished second for Ron Holland, so he's certainly going to be in the mix. Rick Pitino was out there openly campaigning for any job that he can get his hands on. He's certainly someone who has great credentials. Now, there may be a little bit of a mess with previous NCAA allegations, but he's been cleared of all that. Nate Oates at Alabama is a good one. Royale Ivy is an assistant with the Brooklyn Nets right now who interviewed for the job last time around and has extreme Texas ties after playing there. So there's lots of guys out there, and those are just a few that jump out early.
Now, Adam, from a roster standpoint, there are 2 5-star commits in their 2023 class right now, Ron Holland and A.J. Johnson. How does this coaching situation affect their recruiting and the recruiting of potentially other prospects?
Well, as I said, both have publicly supported Rodney Terry, and I don't expect anything to come out to the contrary of that in the immediate future. However, I think that from the perspective of other college basketball programs around the country, these 2 are essentially back on the board. Now, they both signed their national letters of intent, so you have to be careful about the way in which you go about it. But I think that if Ron Holland and A.J. Johnson were to decommit at some point, they would be the best 2 available prospects left in the national class of 2023. A.J. Johnson is a player with a very high long-term ceiling, but Ron Holland is one that is, as much as maybe any player in the national class, suited to come in and impact winning from day one. He's a 2-way player, meaning he plays as well in the defensive end as he does in the offensive end. One reason why he was going to be a terrific fit for Chris Beard. And he's continued to improve throughout the course of his career. He's also a high-end competitor. So if he does ultimately end up reopening his recruiting, it's going to be a race that could have some of the very biggest programs in all of college basketball try and jump back in.
All right, Eric and Adam, thank you. Appreciate you both. And for any further updates on the coaching situation and recruitment and all the latest college basketball news, remember to keep it locked in to 247sports.com.